Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone. Did you like the Lord of the Rings trilogy? I'm not talking about the Amazon Prime TV show, The Rings of Power. That sucked and we all know it. I'm talking about the Peter Jackson trilogy, along with all of the books written by J.R. Tolkien himself. If you did love the world of Lord of the Rings, are you ready to go on an adventure through dungeons deep and caverns old? I'm Mike, and this is Mike's After Action Reviews, and this is the Rapid Action Review for The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria. I love my awesome Support the Troops Stormtrooper mug. Do you know where you can get a mug just like this one, but different? Bottega Krua. Bottega Krua is an Italian born and raised artisan trained at the Academy of Fine Arts in Venice, Italy. Since 2010, Bottega Krua has offered unique handmade and hand-painted ceramics, pottery, and other artistic products. You can find these products at her Etsy store by following the link down below. She also takes custom orders, but they may take longer to ship because she has to make them after you order them. So, go check out Bottega Krua to get yourself an awesome mug just like this one, or the ones you've been seeing behind me as this ad has been going on. Remember guys, supporting our partners is supporting the pack, the Action Pack. So starting off with the game's production. The Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria was initially released on October 24th, 2023 to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and Series S, and Microsoft Windows. The game was developed by Free Range Games, most well known for the Callisto Protocol in 2022, and also having most recently done Rube Goldberg Workshop in 2023. It was published by North Beach Games, most well known for 7 Days to Die from 2013, and having most recently done Stranded Deep in 2015. Alright, so going straight into final statement and review score here, we're going to do the sustains and the improves. So, the first sustain that I have for this game is that it is a Lord of the Rings game with survival craft elements, rather than a survival craft game in the world of the Lord of the Rings. Okay? I keep seeing this advertised as a survival craft game, which it kind of pseudo is, but really it's a Lord of the Rings game. The resource harvesting and crafting elements are here, but this is a linear story with you making your way through Moria in a semi-open world. You're actually quite restricted because of how far you can dig into different areas when it comes to like mining and things like that, and you basically have a preset path that you're going to be going on as you make your way through the environments. The second sustain is that this is a lore-friendly story involving familiar characters and a familiar setting. I know that there's a lot of lore when it comes to the works of Tolkien, so there may be some things where people are going to go, no, it's not lore-friendly. I'm just saying, basically, for most people, general audiences, this isn't, as far as what our knowledge is of The Lord of the Rings based on the movies and probably some people having read a few of the books, this doesn't really break the lore, break the world, or anything like that, okay? We also have Gimli being in the game, Erebor is mentioned, And also, of course, we're traveling through Moria. This was really cool. I think this was one of the greatest settings that, the thing is like when you play games like Minecraft and Moria and these games where you're digging around in the earth, trying to gather resources and surviving and, crafting different things, immediately what I thought of years ago when I first started playing Minecraft is like, oh, I'm like a dwarf from Lord of the Rings, And in games like that, they often have mods where you can like go through Moria and Helm's Deep and all those things. So this was actually one of the greatest settings for a game with these types of elements, so that was really awesome. The third sustain that I have is a satisfying progression system. Now, I did say that this was a Lord of the Rings game with survivalcraft elements, but if we are to think of this as being a type of survivalcraft game, it has a system much like other survivalcraft games where you will dig for resources, which will allow you to build better tools, and those better tools will allow you to get better resources, which will allow you to create better weapons, better tools, and get better resources and defeat better monsters and stuff like that, more challenging enemies and stuff like that. So it's much like most games in this genre, but it still stands, and I think that that's a really great thing that they did. I was very satisfied with the progression system here. Now, moving on to the game's improves. Alright, so the first improve that I have is bugs and technical issues. Now, I want to make this very clear that nothing was game-breaking, but things like overlapping text in the UI, loading issues when moving to a new area, and also a strange glitch with the final boss that causes... So basically, the boss would duplicate, alright, and then the duplicate would just stand there looking at me, even moving its head and stuff, but not actually doing anything, while the actual boss ran away and was in a new area where you have to, the final boss you have to go and attack in multiple areas. So that was very strange for me. Just a couple of odd little things like that. Nothing really game-breaking. I definitely get that these are not AAA developers, and so there might be some issues, and I know that they are patching the game and things like that. So these are things that maybe even at the time of you watching this might have been fixed. The second improve is they could have done with a bigger world. Being that there is a particular story structure that is leading you through Moria on a particular path, it wasn't a big deal. But if you really want a true, and this is the thing that I'm saying that keeps it from being a true survivalcraft game, but if you want a true survivalcraft experience, you should have a bigger world where you can basically explore massive areas and be able to build giant structures and different things like that to your heart's content. Here they don't really have that. It is a smaller area. It's not necessarily. It's probably like the least problematic improve because of the way the game is designed. But it still stands as, if you are expecting a true survivalcraft experience where you have this giant open world, you're not really going to get it here. The third improve that I have is a better final boss. The final boss in this game is surprisingly easy. I was very, very... See, I wouldn't even say disappointed, because once you get to the end of the story and you're fighting the final boss, it's not that big of a deal to not have this huge challenge, because the story in itself was actually quite satisfying. But, again, it still stands that if you want an improve here, it's got to be like, you could have made that final boss. You could have made that final boss way more difficult than it ended up being. I actually think that some of the minor bosses that you'll fight throughout the game are actually more difficult than the final boss, depending on how you play and how good you are doing certain things, So, anyway, the action pack needs you. You can support Mike's After Action Reviews on our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every quarter, once we've made at least $200, we're going to be giving away 10% of our earnings from Patreon in a giveaway over on our Twitch, so go check that out as well. You can find all of the links for everything in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Do your part. Support the pack. The action pack. Because of all of these reasons, I'm going to give this game a rating of 1 thumb way up average. Okay? Yeah, but like a high average, I think this is good. I've talked about in the past where sometimes a game is disappointing, so it's lowered down to an average score. This is basically a non-AAA developer making something smaller than you may expect for a survival craft genre, but everything within it is done very well, executed well. There are some technical issues that I hope that they work out, but nothing game-breaking, and definitely not as bad as a lot of things that we've seen in AAA games nowadays. Is it worth the asking price? Is it fun to play? Absolutely. A solid title. If you like Lord of the Rings, if you like the dwarves, check this one out. Average game. I want to thank you all for watching, and just say God bless you all, and have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after-action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.